Hey everybody, it's me, Zach, and welcome back to my channel. Amberlynn went live with her side of the story while I was editing this video today, so stay tuned for my reaction to that. I'll try to get it out to you as soon as I can. Thanks so much for your patience and enjoy today's video. Alright everybody, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. I'm like thinking to myself last night as I'm going to bed, I was like, I need another vacation. Let me get that trip to Charleston. Let me fly on over to Vegas. I need a break again already. I'm just kidding. I don't really mind all that much. But we have a lot to talk about because if you haven't seen, if you're not like overly present in Girl World and other places besides just my channel, like if you're not watching other reaction channels, if you're not on the Twitter, if you're not on one of the various forums that discusses Amberlynn, then you may not know that Erica, Valentine, from the literal video I just reacted to yesterday, has been exposed. Like, people have found out who she is. They found out who Erica's wife is. And Erica and her wife Brittany have both come forward in many avenues. They have done a phone call interview with Oh Lordy It's Judy in a live stream. I'll leave that link down below for you. They also sent several voice memos to Apathetic Facts, and Apathetic Facts put together a video of all those voice memos. I'll leave that link down below for you. And also, I think initially a channel called Salty Crab was one of the first YouTube channels that really put out who they were, what was going on, and what was happening, and so I'll leave Salty Crab's video linked down below as well. Now, I just want to give you a little bit of a timeline on how I found out about this. I think it's important to know, especially because I tweeted about it and I think I maybe confused some people. Some people think that I've just been like sitting on some information about this and I really haven't. So what happened is I did my regular Twitch stream. If you don't know, I stream usually Monday through Thursday on Twitch around 4 p.m. Central Time. I usually don't spend a whole lot of time talking about Amberlynn, although it has seeped in a little bit this week just because obviously there's a lot going on with Miss Amberlynn Reid. Anyways, we did a reaction to something not Amberlynn Reid related. I was wrapping up my stream and then somebody said, oh my gosh, Zach, did you see that they found Erica's Instagram? Did you know that Erica follows you, Zach? And I was like, girl, I have no idea who Erica is. No, of course I didn't realize that she followed me. I have like 20,000 something followers on Instagram. I do not know who most of the people are that follow me. But anyways, I was like, okay, well, I do have to go. I'm hungry. I need to eat dinner. I will follow up on this after I get done. So I log off, and while I'm eating my dinner, I'm like scrolling through social media, and I see that people on Twitter are also saying that Erica's wife, Brittany, had been trying to DM me. Some people had tagged me in some stuff and said, hey, I don't know if you know, but Brittany is trying to get a hold of you. And I was like, that's interesting because I don't know, I've been talking about lately how Instagram just updated their user interface of the messaging part of their app, and it's kind of better now, at least compared to what it used to be. I would get a whole bunch of message requests and never be able to look through all of them, and I just think it's a little bit easier now, but I was like, I haven't seen any messages from her. But then I started thinking about maybe it wasn't today, maybe it's a time where she tried to message me in the past. So then I saw people sharing her Instagram, so I just searched through my messages for messages from Brittany, and she did in fact had been trying to message me. And this is the part I just want to be transparent about because I mentioned on Twitter that she had messaged me all the way back, dating back to November of 2023. I want to be clear that I didn't even open the message. I saw what her message was, but I didn't open it and reply to it. It was honestly a very vague message. I get messages, well, I get hundreds of messages every week. To be clear, I don't respond to most messages that I get, but even more specifically, the message she sent me didn't have any like proof or evidence, okay? So I'm gonna show you. All right, this is December of 2019. This is how long Brittany's been following me, okay? December of 2019, she sends me these pictures of this very beautiful, gorgeous, adorable dog, all right? I do think that's important because I had also seen some like screenshots of her being a member of like an Amberlynn Reid hate group on Facebook since like 2020, and this tells you it goes back even further. She's been following me since 2019. But then on November 12th of 2023, she sent me just a text that said, Amberlynn having a affair with my spouse, in all caps. And I'm like, I don't know. Like at the time I was like, that seems kind of far-fetched and this person is not providing any additional evidence. I'm not interested in pursuing this. I've seen so many times of so many reaction channels out there that have run with false tea, who have just like jumped at any kind of tea that might make Amberlynn look bad. And I honestly didn't think that this would be true, and I didn't think much of it, and I did not respond to it. On July 9th of this year, so this month, she sent me another message. She responded to me on my story wearing this hat that says "Go Piss Girl," and she responds and says, "A recent victim of Amberlynn T. I want my story out there. I will not be the only one hurting in this situation. I've tried to reach you for months." Which I do think is interesting because it's like, you tried to reach out to me once. So it's not like she was like hitting me up over and over and over again. Like she reached out to me all of 2 times regarding Amberlynn having an affair with Erica. My response to her yesterday, I finally messaged her back because I was getting so many DMs of people saying that she was trying to reach out to me. And I said, "Hi Brett, I get so many messages and a lot of time people try to send me tea like this that isn't real without any proof. I'm sorry I missed your messages. People told me you've been trying to reach out. I really try to avoid speculation and I only work with evidence and proof. If you have proof or evidence that your partner is Erica/Valentine, that would be great." And then she finally messaged me after she went on Jordy's live and said, "Watch Jordy's live." I said, "I did, no worries." And then at 1:30 this morning, I was already in bed, but at 1:30 this morning, she said, "I wish this could have come to light sooner to pump the brakes on the disaster that ensued." And I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but I think that's an interesting message to say. Like, I understand the concept that she really wanted a reaction channel to help get her story out. It makes sense to me why that might be helpful for people to take her story with more credibility and this, that, the other. But also, she's known about this, well, really, she's known about this the whole time. We'll get into that too. But she's been upset about the situation at least since November. So, like, she could have also done anything she wanted about it back in November. She could have started a YouTube channel. We know she knows how to because, spoiler alert, she has one. They have a YouTube account. They say that they're gonna try to go live tonight at 9 p.m. Was it 9 p.m.? I'll get the exact date. I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern tonight, but it might be 9 p.m. my time and they might have said 10 p.m. Eastern. Either way, she's set up a YouTube account. She's going live. They're gonna go talk about their story there. So, like, these are things that she could have done this whole time, just to be clear. I don't know why she's messaging me saying, like, I wish this could have came out sooner. She could have came out with her story at any given time. She didn't need me. She didn't need Oh Lordy, It's Jordy. She didn't need Apathetic Facts. She didn't need any of the people that she might have. I think she said she also reached out to Karina Kaboom. She didn't need any of those people necessarily to come out with this. And I just want to say, when it comes to people reaching out to me in the DMs, I'm honestly so exhausted by it. I learned pretty quickly in this quarter of the internet that I didn't want to be a tea spiller. After a while of people like constantly sending me receipts and Amberlynn trying to send me receipts and things like that, I was just like, that's not the kind of like channel I want to do. Like, when I say I'm a reaction channel, it's because I want to sit here and react to people's videos, and sometimes that does mean covering receipts that other people share, but I don't like being a keeper of that. That's why when Amberlynn tried to manipulate me regarding the stuff going on with Dr. Smith, her weight loss surgeon, I said, stop talking to me. I'm gonna stop engaging. I will take fault in is that I engaged with you to begin with to make you think that I was somebody that you could come into my DMs and talk to. But I told her, like, I'm done doing it. I'm not going to interact with you like that anymore. And I haven't. I have not since then. And it even came up recently. I haven't talked about this on the main channel, but I did talk about it on Twitch the other day. It came up recently, just this week, because a YouTuber named Quirky Love Rosie, she came out with this big long live stream about feederism regarding Amberlynn's partner and this, that, the other. Before she did any of that, she sent me all the screenshots of her conversation with Amberlynn, which, by the way, she said to Amberlynn, I'm gonna keep this conversation between us, and then immediately DM me the screenshots. And I immediately said to Rosie, because she was like, Zach, I'm telling you all this because I know you'll keep this in between the two of us. And I said immediately, like, don't ever DM me with stuff that you want me to keep private because that's so unfair to me. Like, it's so difficult to sit here and be a keeper of secrets for people. Not that I ever agreed to be a keeper of secrets for Brittany. I didn't even respond to her. But it's just like people have this idea that like they could just DM me tea, and to be honest, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to be a part of it. I just want to sit here and watch things as they go down. I would have felt so bad if I had just like taken Brittany at her word at the time and it wasn't true. Because also, just to be clear, at that point in November when she first reached out to me, like she didn't even have the proof that she has now, like the phone call that she had with Amberlynn, this, that, the other. So anyways, I just wanted to be clear about that because I do think what I can take accountability for is that my tweet on Twitter did not properly like really communicate that. I do think the way I worded things, I can understand why it might have been interpreted that like I knew about this the whole time and I just didn't say anything to like protect Amber or protect Brittany or whatever it might have been, whatever reason people think I might have like been holding on to this info. Because there's two sources of this content of Erica and Brittany spilling all this information about Erica's relationship with Amberlynn, I took the most notes about Apathetic Facts' video. If you were watching Jordy's live stream last night, I was there for parts of it. I know also probably people are going to be like, Zach, I thought you didn't watch other reaction channels. I just want to be also clear that like this is different than me watching somebody react to Amberlynn, as in this is new information that we didn't have out there, and this is where that information is. And I certainly want to give all credit to Jordy and Apathetic Facts for having this information and sharing it, and that's why I'll make sure to link them down below so that you can get the information directly from the source. So I am mostly going to focus on Apathetic Facts' video. If I'm being honest with you, from participating in the live stream last night, most of everything matches up. Like, they said a lot of similar stuff. I will maybe pepper in some stuff from Jordy's live stream that they didn't quite hit on in Apathetic Facts' video. I also just want to say, I don't know if it's going to be an unpopular opinion or not, but it's just how I feel about this situation. Yes, Amberlynn is absolutely awful for pursuing a relationship with a married woman who she clearly, as evidenced by all the stuff that Brittany shared, she knew that Erica was a married woman. But I also want to say, I don't think that like Brittany or Erica in this situation get off scot-free. Like, I really don't. I don't think that they had good intentions in any of this, and I really truly believe that if you play stupid games, you're gonna win stupid prizes. So yeah, let's just get into Apathetic Facts' video. I'll try to provide clips when it will be helpful for context, but again, certainly go watch Apathetic Facts' video directly for the full story, because I can't possibly include all like 40 minutes of their video. So basically what you need to know about how all of this started is that they were just truly trolling Amberlynn. It was a conversation between Erica and Brittany after Erica saw a post that Amberlynn made about liking masked women. Erica alleges also that she was really upfront with Amberlynn about how she was previously a hater, how she had watched her videos and she just really didn't like Amberlynn, but that something changed while they were talking and she no longer felt that way.
Okay, hello Apathetic Facts, this is Erica. I do want to say how this all started was me and Brittany were sitting in bed, and we saw one of Amberlynn's posts talking about masculine women. And Brittany looked at me, and I looked at her, and I was like, what if I messaged her? Right? So our first message was, I was like, I think I said like masculine women, ? Or something like that. And she messaged me back, and we were messaging for a while, back and forth, just like talking. And then, of course, it started becoming a problem, between Brittany and I, because I was like, apparently, I guess her true colors were showing, whatever. She did ask if I was with anyone. And so I had talked to Brittany, and I was like, what should I tell her? And Brittany was like, tell her that, like, we're still technically married, but that, you know, we aren't, like, technically together, but we're, like, by law still married. So I gave her that story and rode with it for a while. And, of course, I do deserve this backlash that I'm getting because I trolled her for a while and just kind of, like, get, like, a kick out of it, you know, whatever. It's Amberlynn Reid. I wasn't a big fan of her for a very long time. And she does know, I openly told her, Amberlynn, that, you know, I used to watch her and I disliked her extremely at one point.
One important thing to note, that while they weren't officially dating, Amberlynn was apparently also talking to 2 other women at least, one named Danielle and another one named Abby.
I'd like to point out that while I was talking to Amberlynn, she was talking to a girl named Danielle that was also married. I don't know, like, the full details behind that whole situation. I just know that I was kind of like the back burner person of this whole triangle that she had going on. Like, she was talking to another girl named Abby, and then she was telling me about her friend named Alexis, and then she was telling me about Danielle and how she was crazy over her. And
Erica said that initially she was like the back burner. She was the one on deck, on backup, in case something didn't work out with those 2. And also eventually this Abby woman just became a regular friend of Amberlynn's and not a romantic interest anymore. But apparently Abby was also just like really rude to Amberlynn, and one of the things that ends up coming up later is that, you know, I mean, I think we saw in Amberlynn's own video that she was trying to suggest that, like, you know, she couldn't talk to her friends or things like that, which seems to be her own problem of, like, focusing too much on Erica. But Erica's like, I never, you know, made anybody not interact with Amberlynn. I never told Amberlynn not to interact with people, but I did tell her that her friends were shitty. Like that Abby was saying mean, rude, shitty things to her.
And they became good friends, and she was always telling me the disrespectful shit that Abby would say to her, and I'm like, why are you friends with this person? You know, I wouldn't even give them the time of day.
When it comes to Erica actually, like, officially being in a relationship with Amberlynn, Erica claims she was forced by text to agree to be Amberlynn's girlfriend.
She started becoming really possessive. She started, you know, talking about Brittany, how I always choose her first, and that I won't be her girlfriend, and I wouldn't choose her. And so on, I think it was like Valentine's Day or whatever, she was giving me a hard time about it, and it more so felt forced, and that was through text. So if she tries to show those texts, you'll see that that was a forced agreement for me and her to be in a relationship.
And I will say, throughout this whole entire, like, voice memo video, Erica and Brittany both try to make claims that Amberlynn is super manipulative. And I think we're all inclined to believe that because it's true, we've seen it. And I do think that Amberlynn tried to manipulate both of them. I don't think there's a doubt about that for me. I think that she is a manipulative person. I've witnessed it with how she talks to me. I definitely believe she was manipulative. But I had to be honest, I'm also just like, log off. You know, like you live in a, I presume, different state. I actually didn't look up where Erica and Brittany live, but I assume they're not, at the very least, in Oklahoma City with Amberlynn. Like, I'm sure at any given time or point you could have just simply blocked her number, which, like, she did block her number, but only after she, like, finally eventually ended things, like, a month ago, okay? So, like, you could have just logged out. Like, what were you worried about Amberlynn doing, you know? Amberlynn is a woman who can't drive and and has limited mobility. You know, what was the worst that she was gonna do? Have Mama Lynn drive her all the way to wherever the fuck you live? It really reminds me of like the meme or joke on the internet about like, how are you gonna get cyberbullied? Like literally just log off. And I do think cyberbullying and things like that are serious, but like to some extent, at what point were you not just like, I need to just log off. I need to stop interacting with this woman. It started out as a joke, but here we are. But it does sound like Erica eventually, like once she really truly ended things, did block Amberlynn's number. And even then, Amberlynn like texted her from another number, tried to get in contact with her from another number.
She messaged me on a fake number the next day because she thought that my wife took my phone. That's the story my wife gave her, but I was really sitting right there during the whole phone call.
But even then, it's like, okay, well then just don't respond. Don't answer it, don't pick up, don't do nothing, block that number. Like, eventually she'll get tired. Eventually she'll give up. And again, like, I do get it. She's manipulative. Erica even talked about when she tried to end things with Amberlynn. Amberlynn would FaceTime her, cry, send her manipulative videos.
I was trying to like let her down easy and like not being like, okay, we need to end things, because I tried to multiple times and she would like literally FaceTime me and show her whole face crying, her makeup. She would send me crazy videos of her and songs and like trying to get my attention, whatever, saying I made her triggered, she has abandonment issues, and you know, she was begging for me not to end things. And she claims that I was like cheating on her, but she was wanting me to give her information about my sex life with my wife.
So I don't want to take away from that, because I fully believe that like Amberlynn did some like mental, emotional manipulation, for sure. Whenever they solidified the relationship, Erica asked what a relationship would be like with Amberlynn. Like, how would she define that? What would that look like? And Amberlynn included the words more loyal.
And so I was like, so what would this relationship be? And she was like, just more loyal, more communication, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I can deal with that.
And Erica's like, yeah, sure, I can do that, all while still being in a relationship with her wife. like she was actively engaging in this. It's crazy to me. But yeah, I guess essentially things were just getting out of hand. Erica, you know, like, I don't know, started developing actual feelings for Amberlynn or something. I feel like she gave that vibe more in Jordy's live stream than she did in these voice memos to Apathetic Facts. Like, I feel like it came across in Jordy's live stream that there was some kind of, like, feelings or emotion on Erica's end at some point in this relationship, and on Apathetic Facts video, I just didn't get that same kind of energy from her. But also, Erica started talking about some things in regards to, like, Amberlynn's possessiveness over her that really line up with things that we've heard exes say about Amberlynn, and also things that Amberlynn has said about herself. Like, I think around the time this relationship with Valentine started, you might recall that Amberlynn was talking about how she would lose her mind if she texted Valentine at like 8 in the morning and didn't get a response back immediately. And Erica talks about this. She talks about how Amberlynn was asking for screenshots of her inbox. She talks about how Amberlynn convinced her to put her on Life 360, which also, honestly, I'd never heard of Life 360 before this. Apparently, my understanding is that it's an app where you can see where somebody is pretty much at all times, like GPS location. And I guess Amberlynn would literally Google the addresses of where she was at any given time.
So we would talk. We FaceTimed. Anytime I looked off, like I was looking at my phone, she would always question me. She was like wanting me to send screenshots of like my inbox and my text messages and stuff, and like who I'm talking to. You know, she was like, why don't you leave the house, go to the store or something so you can call me? And I'm like, no, like, my wife has 360. So me and my wife have 360, and we know where each other are at any given time. So, you know, it's not like I'm running around doing crazy stuff. So she made the comment saying, I need you to put me on Life 360. So I was like, no, not going to do that. A couple weeks go by and she's still pestering me about it. And I I agreed to it, and like an idiot, and she was Googling every address I would go to.
Now, a big part of this that I think really makes Amberlynn scummy in all of this, despite whatever manipulation comes from Erica and Brittany in this situation, is that according to Erica, at multiple different times, Amberlynn was very aware of Erica being in a relationship. Like, originally, Erica had said, like, oh, you know, I'm just in this for, like, financial reasons. We're technically married, but we're not really together. But apparently at some point, Amberlynn found out that, no, like, they were serious.
She was always questioning me. She would ask me, when was the last time I kissed my wife? I need to tell her every time I kiss my wife. I need to tell her every time I have sex with my wife. Because she eventually found out that me and my wife were not, like, technically married, that we were married and we did have an active relationship and that we have been together for a long time and that we were, you know, affectionate, you know, everything like that. And she was upset about it, of course, but, you know, she forgave me.
And that does come up again later when we see a conversation between Amberlynn and Brittany on the phone. So just keep that in mind. But that's honestly what clearly makes Amberlynn so scummy in this situation is, why are you continuing to open your metaphorical legs for a married woman, you know? And I say metaphorical because, like, I think it's also important to remind everybody that these two people never met in real life. Like, that's crazy to me. And I certainly think that there's still, like, emotional cheating, right? Like, that's what this is. That's what happened here. Nothing physical obviously happened. But it's just wild to me that this is all over a long distance Instagram DM relationship. It sounds like the beginning of the end for this relationship is when Erica's uncle died on June 9th, and Amberlynn was less concerned about how Erica was processing the loss of a family member and more concerned about how her relationship with Erica was going.
She messaged me on the day my uncle died, and my uncle, like, died, and I had a mental breakdown in the Taco Bell parking lot, you know, getting food. I'm having a mental breakdown, and I told her, like, hey, I just found out my uncle died. Like, I need some time. I needed time. And I told her, like, hey, this is a whole ordeal for me. Like, I'm trying to figure things out with the family, figure things out with this, that, and the third. And then she's wondering, she's more concerned about if I miss us, like, me and her. She's like, do you miss us? Do you miss me? You know, are we still together? And I'm like, I don't think that, you know, we should do this anymore. Basically, like, I did give her the whole spiel, like, oh yeah, you know, this isn't right. You know, you don't deserve this. And, you know, no one else deserves this. She said, okay, friends it is.
Which, you know, is very reminiscent of a lot of the things that were speculated about and talked about in regards to how Amberlynn treated Beck post Beck's mom passing away. So, you know, I think that is some repeated concerned behavior. Amberlynn putting herself before a partner's deceased loved one is nothing necessarily new for Amberlynn Reid. But yeah, on June 15th, they ended things. I know some people in Jordy's chat were curious about the move-in date and the move-in agreement and why Amberlynn would think that this woman was going to move in with her on August 1st. And Erica did address that both in Jordy's stream and in Apathetic Facts' video.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit as far as, like, how August 1st came about. Like, whenever the whole, like, agreement of the relationship happened, she's like, well, we need to meet, you know? And I was like, well, when? And she's like, pick a date. And I didn't pick the date. She ended up picking the date. It was August 1st, of course. And she was wanting me to move in and things like that. And so that's how August 1st came about, was, you know, she thought that I was going to leave. And I did. Like, I did lead her on and basically say, yeah, I'll be there August 1st. Sure, I'll be there August 1st. You know, because she asked every single day. Like, it was, if it wasn't every single day, it was every week, multiple times a week. It can happen. Instead of me, I was being a and basically giving her false hope. And I should have womaned up and been like, no, like, it's not going to happen. I'm staying with my wife. Like, why would I give up what I have here and come living in a 1-bedroom apartment with you whenever all I hear in the background is sirens and people hollering in the streets? Like, that's not where my peace is.
So the general sense that I get from the situation is that Erica didn't really know how to say no about going to visit Amberlynn. It sounds like Erica wanted to say no, but then just said, like, yeah, I'll come visit you. And then she started getting ideas in her head of, like, well, if I actually do go and and do this, and I actually go and visit Amberlynn, there's no way I can come home to my wife. So yeah, like, I'll tell her that I'm gonna move in with her. Sure, why not? Which, again, like, if you don't have any actual, like, I don't know, actual serious considerations for doing that, like, why lie about it? I understand that, like, Amberlynn is manipulating her, but what was she planning on doing on August 1st? You know, like, had the stuff with her uncle not happened, had they not gotten into those disagreements and things like that, was she just gonna keep pretending all the way up until August 1st and then just not show up? Again, one of the important things about this conversation that Erica really wanted to clear up is that in Amberlynn's phone call with Brittany, Amberlynn kept making this claim that Erica, like, prevented Amberlynn from spending time with her friends. Now, like I said, I think we know from Amberlynn's own screenshots of proof or whatever that Amberlynn fully took accountability with her friends that, like, she was putting too much time and energy into this relationship and that she shouldn't have ignored her friends. So it really doesn't seem like Erica was telling her to do anything. It seems like Amberlynn was making that decision on her own. But Erica does take some time to talk about Amberlynn's friends, in particular Alexis.
And then Alexis, she said a bunch of things about Alexis. Like, personal things about Alexis. I don't want to share it, but, like, homegirl thinks Alexis is her best friend in the world. Alexis thinks Amberlynn is her bestest friend in the world. Well, guess what? Like, Amberlynn talks shit about Alexis to me, saying she gives me the ick and the things she says to me, blah, 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 blah. So I didn't make her stop talking to anybody.
And one thing that was also included in Jordy's live stream is that Alexis was in the chat and she had, like, sent a super chat. Alexis said, "The lies that they're spewing are insane. Erica is a sociopath and has cheated on her wife multiple other times, and now she's trying to save her marriage by doing this. Fake news." And whenever Jordy informed Erica that this was said, Erica suggested, similar to what she said in Apathetic Facts' video, that, like, Amberlynn has talked so much shit about Alexis, and apparently Alexis is, like, ran through, and that she should, like, stop talking.
Also, another thing for Alexis, I wouldn't speak so soon because I knew how many people you went through, and I'm not gonna, like, display your business or call you names, but you are not the one to talk about relationships. I will say that.
Okay.
And the same conversation about Alexis and Amberlynn's friends, we also find out that Eric and Ricky chose to visit Amberlynn, which I think is just like a big fuck you to Beck.
The friends that visited her was not Alexis, it was not Tommy, whoever, it was Eric and Ricky. Eric and Ricky are the two friends that was at her apartment because, you know, I knew.
So yeah, get fucked, Eric and Ricky. And then the portion of Apathetic Facts' video where Erica wraps up with, like, Erica just in general talking about Amberlynn's BPD and how she uses it to emotionally manipulate her and people around her.
It's like use her BPD as a crutch. She says, you know, every time she got upset with me or if I didn't respond in a timely manner, she would like basically say I'm triggering her BPD and things like that. So I basically felt like majority of the time, like, not necessarily a gun to my head, but making me feel sorry for her. And, you know, at one point I was like, oh, you know, maybe she really isn't a bad person and people just make her out to be, even though I should have damn well knew.
And I think, yeah, I think that that is probably very true. We've definitely seen Amberlynn do that in all of her videos. we see her bring up her BPD diagnosis to avoid accountability, to find something to blame her behavior on, and, you know, just reinforces that Amberlynn really needs to see a therapist. Which also, speaking of therapists, should we talk about Brittany? Because y'all, Brittany in this video is like, I'm a therapist.
I have since read through everything that was on Erica's phone, and I am, you know, I'm a therapist. That's what I do. And when I tell you that this is one of the most dangerously manipulative people that I have ever met, Amberlynn is one of the most dangerously manipulative people I have ever met.
Knowing that she's a therapist, I just have to really question her credibility as a therapist. Because, like, if you're a therapist and you know, at this time, around the time that this relationship started, Amberlynn had only just found out about her BPD diagnosis. She hadn't been, you know, diagnosed with it for very long. But at the very least, Brittany has been following Amberlynn since 2019. It does not take an expert, it does not take Brittany being a therapist to watch Amberlynn's videos and know that there is some kind of, like, mental illness challenge going on there, let alone the fact that Amberlynn brings it up so often in most of her videos. Like, the chances of you watching one of her videos and not knowing that she has several mental health diagnoses is probably very unlikely. So anyways, Brittany admits that she was a part of this scheme from the beginning to reach out to Amberlynn and troll her.
And yeah, we together initiated a troll, and that's what we were doing, just to see if we could get some kind of reaction back, some kind of message. And that's as far as it was supposed to go.
And again, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It's just interesting to me that they want to sit here and emphasize, like Brittany and Erica emphasized multiple times throughout this video, throughout these voice memos, how dangerous and manipulative Amberlynn is a person. And I agree, she is. But y'all as a couple schemed to manipulate her into thinking that Erica was actually interested when she wasn't? Does that not make you also, like, manipulative and schemy? Like, that's really insane behavior to me. I'm sorry. I know people just are excited to see Amberlynn exposed for the manipulative person she is. And, like, true, yeah, she is. We definitely did it. We have exposed it many times, and I agree. Amberlynn is a piece of shit for trying to pursue a woman who she knew was married. Because, like, why would you do that? It would be a whole different thing if Amberlynn didn't know that Erica was married, but it's very clear that she did. And Amberlynn is scummy for that, and I won't mince my words about that. She is. But it is just wild to me that I'm supposed to sit here and listen to these two tell their story about Amberlynn being crazy and manipulative as if they didn't reach out to her as strangers on the internet and try to make up this whole fake relationship and interest in her. So anyways, I guess she threatened Amberlynn with all the evidence that she had, and, like, emphasized to Amberlynn that if she didn't get her shit together, that this would be a whole entire circus for her.
How long has this been going on? I didn't tell her who I was. Obviously, I was calling from Erica's phone. She just spilled it. She was crying. I'm like, you know that with all of this stuff that I have, all these texts, all these pictures, you know, this would be a circus for you. Like, I could, like, really make things really difficult for you if I wanted to. But I didn't. I didn't try to get any kind of retribution. I was not vengeful. I did not say anything out of the way to her.
So that makes a lot of sense to me why Amberlynn stated that she was so afraid to say Erica's name in a video. But then it also makes even less sense to me that Amberlynn thought it would be a good idea to say Erica's name in a video. Like, I really feel like she thought she ate in trying to take away the attention from the feederism of Tommy and all of that. And she really is just out here digging her own fucking grave. Like, I don't understand why she thought that unleashing the circus was a good idea. I will say I'm a little confused about the timeline and what happened on what days, but I think that she sent this message to me after the phone calls with Amberlynn, so maybe her opinion changed about not wanting retribution and this, that, the other. But I also just want to point out that in her message to me, she said that she's been trying to reach me for months, that she's wanted to get this retribution for months. So I don't necessarily also believe that Brittany didn't ever want some kind of retribution from Amberlynn or for Amberlynn. Like, I think she really was actually very seriously pissed at Amberlynn. I don't know, just something interesting I thought of while I was editing this video together and hearing her say those things again. Brittany also says, how desperate do you have to be to chase after a married woman?
Who wants to stay with someone like that? Like, how desperate do you have to be trying to chase after a married woman? Me and Erica have been married for 9 years.
And I want to emphasize, there's a big agree from me, okay? If there's anything in the history of Amberlynn's channel that has solidified how desperate and thirsty for human attention that Amberlynn Reid is, it's this, okay? I have never seen a situation that makes it more clear how starved she is for affection and validation from a woman, and this just goes to show that. I mean, as I pointed out recently multiple times, she zoomed right on past every fucking red flag in just about probably every relationship she's been in, but certainly in this relationship and the relationship with Tommy, the reality is she's not concerned with potential issues about these people that she's talking to on the internet. She really just needs the love, validation, affirmation, etc. Amberlynn will honestly get into a relationship with any human that has a pulse, whether that person is married, whether they're trolling her, or whether they're a feeder. Which, by the way, reminds me of another thing from Jordy's stream, which is at one point, Erica addresses Tommy and drags Tommy and says something along the lines of like, I might be a cheater, but I'm not a feeder.
Because everyone thought Tommy was me, and apparently Tommy killing her girlfriend is the main talk right now. So I guess in order to expose me, you know, let's make Erica, who has a boring life. You know, I have a mundane job. I go to the gym. I don't have any type of history of killing people or feeding people to death. Sorry, excuse me. I'm not sure if I'm going to get monetized or docked, you know, in trouble for saying that. But Tommy has more of a history than I do. But still, let's make Erica a distraction. I'm not about to be a distraction to someone that fed their recent partner to death.
I also want to emphasize that while Brittany is talking about how desperate Amberlynn has to be to pursue a married woman, she talks about how Erica and her are both normal people.
9 years, and we're both normal people. We're not feeders, we're not crazy, we are just both normal people.
And I'm sorry, but I just have to hard disagree. Okay? I don't think it's normal to pretend to be in a relationship with somebody for the lulz on the internet, for the giggles, for the trolling. I don't think it's normal to try to interfere with people's lives and fuck with people like that. I don't know though. Maybe in Brittany's therapist's handbook that shit's normal. But I'm sorry. I don't care if it's an unpopular opinion. I don't think that's normal. I don't. And then also Brittany talks about how she actually tried to coach Amberlynn through, you know, like mental health related stuff. She talks about how like this situation has made her more aware of how mental health can be so destructive to people, and she talks about coaching Amberlynn through not talking to women in her DMs anymore.
Really makes you step back and think about people's mental health and how destructive people are being. And I even coached her. I'm like, you know, Amber, you really need to stop talking to people on the internet that you don't know, because you don't know these people. And
I want to say, I'm a hard agree. I'm a big agree on Amberlynn needs to stop sliding into people's DMs, talking to people from the internet she ain't never met. I've said that time and time and time again. But I gotta give a big what the fuck when it comes to the woman who just admitted that she and her wife were trolling Amberlynn from the beginning. I just am like, big what the fuck for you to sit here and lecture Amberlynn Reid about messaging people because she doesn't know who might be on the other side of that. You realize that you and your wife were literally the people on the other side of that. Y'all are part of the problem. And then the last thing from Brittany's part of the voice memos that she says is that she somehow knows this. She didn't provide how she knew this. She just threw this information out there. But according to Brittany, 16 hours after she called out Amberlynn for all of this, the phone call that I'm about to reference in a bit, apparently 16 hours after that phone call, Tommy had already had a ticket to Oklahoma. So apparently, Amberlynn had been talking to Tommy for probably longer than what we're aware of, at least according to Brittany and Erica. So yeah, then also there's this phone call. There's this phone call that Brittany has with Amberlynn, and Erica's in the background. It looks like, based on the recording, that they're in a car and Erica's sitting off to the side while Brittany talks on the phone with Amberlynn. And this was actually the second time that Brittany had talked to Amberlynn on the phone. The first time happened when Amberlynn, I think, had called Erica's phone and Brittany picked it up and talked to her. And the context for this whole conversation seems to be that after that first phone call, Amberlynn had told Brittany that she would stop all communication with Erica, and Amberlynn didn't do that. Something that's important to note in this conversation multiple times, Amberlynn has identified that she agreed not to make any videos about Erica.
Not only that, but like, she contacted me, I would say, I don't know, less than a week ago, like upset about some TikTok I posted, and I never responded.
So you mean to tell me you're not posting anything about her online?
No one knows her name, nothing about her. Nope, that is something that I told her I would never do.
I expect not to see any more videos.
Correct.
No more, nothing. Not a word, not a peep.
And I absolutely respect that.
Semantics Lynn seems to think that that means that it's okay for Amberlynn to talk about things that happened in their relationship without naming Erica. Like that seems to be Amberlynn's understanding of that agreement, and it seems like Brittany and Erica are not okay with that. They're not okay with her even alluding to what happened in the relationship, even though Amberlynn, at least initially, hadn't said any names. It's also kind of fucked up then that she also did just go ahead and say Erica's name in a video, knowing that all of this could happen, but here we fucking are. There's also multiple times during this phone call where Amberlynn fully acknowledges that she knew that they were married. Initially, it's because Amberlynn thought it was like financial reasons, like I already mentioned.
The part that's got me up is that A, you knew about me, B, you were looking me up on Instagram. That shit is fucking creepy.
Right. I thought that you guys were married for financial reasons, so...
Is that what she said?
Yeah. That is what she originally said, yes.
So even if it is just the financial reasons, that's still so fucking crazy, because her narrative on YouTube has been that she didn't know that Erica was living a double life. But at the very least, even from the beginning, you knew that she was married. So, like, how much of a double life is that? At one point, Brittany tells Amberlynn that she needs help, and Amberlynn says, yeah, probably.
Like, you really need help.
Probably.
And I'm like, okay, well, be serious about that, Amberlynn. I think the past week is more indication than ever before that you need to log off. Like, I say that seriously. I say that as somebody who, you know, makes content and an income from covering content on your channel. Log off the internet. I won't be mad. If I have to take a pay cut, if I have to find other people to cover, like, I will. Like, honestly, you're not well. One thing that I also think is interesting is that all three people involved in this situation seem to acknowledge that Erica played Amberlynn.
So, I mean, I have answered your questions to the best of my ability.
I would really...
Like, I feel like she played me... What?
Yeah, she played you. Hard, like a fiddle.
Yeah.
And I will say, for whatever it's worth, I do respect that Erica takes accountability for her involvement in this mess. It seems very clear to me that she wants to address that situation type of deal, but I still don't think that that makes her behavior okay. And I also want to say a lot of that accountability seems to be also taken because she doesn't want people to, you know, focus their energy or their negative energy on Brittany. She says it so many times that if the internet wants to take this out on somebody, if they want to blame somebody, if they want to give anybody backlash for this, give it to Erica. Don't give it to her wife, Brittany.
I'm hoping that, you know, this gets the people off of my wife's back. If anything, like, you know, cuss me out, call me a piece of shit, blare my picture on Reddit, anywhere you want to do, but I don't want my wife getting backlash for this. Me and her moved past this, actually. Like, yes, I'm the biggest cheating piece of shit spouse on YouTube right now. You can go ahead and say that. But please, like, leave my wife out of this. Like, you know, she did know partially. It was supposed to be a troll. It was supposed to be a joke. It was supposed to be this, that, and the third. But I fell for the stupid. I was stupid, and I fell for the bull. I didn't think that things would get blown out of proportion like this, like, especially, like, with my wife. Like, she is not the one to blame here, because she didn't know about the, like, 95% of the situation. Like, she knew, like, for, you know, the first little bit of it, because we were trolling her. It's, people are definitely, like, blowing things way out of proportion. I just don't want my wife getting drug into this in a negative manner because she didn't know, and there is more to Amberlynn than people know. And
I would agree, Brittany is not as much at fault for any of this as Erica is in terms of, like, the actual cheating going on. But Brittany is certainly a part of it, and I think it is okay to be critical of Brittany. It's okay to be critical of Erica, and it's certainly okay to be critical of Amberlynn, who engaged in a relationship with somebody that she knew was married. And again, Amberlynn emphasizes that she did know about Brittany, and that she even acknowledges that she said stuff about Brittany that was negative because she was jealous.
Like what?
Just know that I know everything you said.
So, you know, like the jealousy side of me, obviously, when I'm in a relationship, thinking that she's going to come live with me and that she's in love with me, yeah, of course. I probably did say some things because I was in a delusional state. 100,000% I can admit that. Like, she had me in a full trance, and I'm absolutely over it.
So, if you knew that she was a cheater, why still talk to her?
Because she said, I'm different.
She also mentions that she stuck around even though she knew Erica was a cheater, because Erica kept reassuring her that Amberlynn was different. And I do think that that's a common narrative amongst people who are, like, serial cheaters. You know, they always say, like, oh, like, you're different, this is different, whoever, whatever. So I don't know, there might be something to Amberlynn really believing that she was different. I believe that also Amberlynn is just, again, thirsty for the affection of anybody, and she's willing to look past people's poor choices and behaviors. And once again, just on the note about Amberlynn knowing, she says she didn't find out until long after she had been talking to Erica romantically that Brittany would consider it cheating, that it wasn't just this little financial marriage situation type of deal.
I just don't understand, like, you talk about double lives and shit, but you knew about it the whole time. Wouldn't that be you living a double life as well?
Well, I didn't find out until a long time after her and I were talking that you would actually consider it cheating.
And so my question is why didn't you end things then? You know, like, if you come to find out that it's not what you thought it was and that there's more to the story, then why didn't you end things then? Like, that part really also doesn't fucking add up for me. Because I guess in some world, I could see the mental gymnastics your brain might do if you're like, oh, like people stay in relationships, people stay, you know, legally married for tax purposes, for financial reasons all the time. I could see you rationalizing that in your head, but once you find out that's not the case, then why are you still there? Why are you still sticking by this? And the last thing I'll say about the phone call is that Brittany in the phone call says that she could have saved Amberlynn so much time if Amberlynn would have just reached out to her about it.
Had you reached out to me and be like, hey, your wife is hitting me up, you know, I probably could have saved you quite a bit of time there.
Yeah, you probably could have.
And I just want to emphasize again that I do think that that's weird. And certainly there are probably many factors that went into, you know, Brittany and Erica's decision to keep going along with this, keep interacting with this. But what's weird to me is that Brittany reached out to me all the way back in November of 2023, right? Like I didn't really pay any mind to it. I didn't pay attention to the DM, as I already noted, but she reached out to me all the way back then. And in Jordy's stream, they alluded to, you know, this initially blowing up back in November and being a big ordeal then. So, like, I get that, you know, she might have wanted a reaction channel to help her out. Like, we already talked about that. I understand the concept of, like, her wanting, you know, an already established platform to help give her credibility. I think those things all make sense. But also, you know, like, none of this also had to happen on the internet at all either also, right? Like you could have done all of this stuff sooner. You could have done exactly what you did in June and July before this all came out on the internet, in November as well, and you didn't. And so I guess that's like, I don't know, to me that's also just like emotionally manipulative too on her end. Like I just don't, I think everybody in this situation is a mess. Like what stopped you from doing something sooner? I don't know, maybe there's like a reasonable response from her on that. I don't know, like maybe there's a good reason why she didn't. But it seemed like back in November, if she's DMing me and maybe other reaction channels, why didn't she do something back then in November? And like, of course, also, like, Amberlynn should have just not been having this relationship with Erica. Erica should have not been having this relationship with Amberlynn. And Brittany probably should have never agreed to the trolling to begin with. One of the big things from Jordy's stream that wasn't covered in the Apathetic Facts video is that Erica admitted to purchasing the Lego kit, the like Batman Lego kit, and also the moon picture that was like, oh, this is what the moon looked like the day we fell in love or whatever. And that Amberlynn also purchased her some Beats headphones.
Just real quick, did you buy her, so like, did Amberlynn ever send you gifts or did you ever buy her a Lego? Because remember she said that somebody bought her like a $400 Lego.
She sent me Beats headphones.
Okay.
Those.
But you never bought her a Lego?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did buy the Lego. Okay.
Yeah, that was me.
Well, so there was a moon picture at one point too. I see a lot of people in the chat right now being interested. Was that you? Did you send her that picture of the moon?
What moon?
There was some photo Amberlynn had, and it was like the date that you guys allegedly started dating, and it was
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that was you?
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, just the chat's really curious about the Lego and the moon pic.
Yeah.
And personally, when I was listening to that part of the stream, it kind of sounded like Erica was very hesitant to admit that on the stream. To me, it kind of seemed like Brittany was maybe not aware of those things, which also just leads me to be like, how do you spend $400 on a troll? To me, that I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess people, I have said in the past that people do some crazy things for a troll, but I don't know, something about this situation and hearing how they talked about it just gives me the feeling, again, like I said, in Jordy's stream, it felt like Erica was being more like clear that like there was some kind of emotional feelings that she had for Amberlynn. Another thing that happened on Jordy's live stream after he ended the call with Erica and Brittany, he offered to have a call with Amberlynn on stream. He ended up walking that back after she did reach out to him to have the call. He said that he had a bad gut feeling about it and that it might not be a good idea to do it. And I think also a large part of the problem is that at one point Amberlynn also started saying she wouldn't do the call unless Alexis was allowed to be on the call as well. And I do think that's manipulative. Like, why does her rando friend Alexis need to be in the call? Like, I totally understand why Jordy wouldn't want to have that conversation. And in general, like, I respect him not wanting to engage with Amberlynn like that. Like, I told y'all when I started this video, I don't have any desire to engage with her like that myself. I honestly think Amberlynn's best bet is to just control the narrative on her own channel. I've been saying that it doesn't make any sense to me that like she just vaguely teases out things on her channel. What she really needs to do is to take control of her own narrative here, and she needs to just be upright and forthcoming about everything if she's going to talk about any of it. Because at this point, everybody's gone to all of these other reaction channels to get the information, to the extent that, like, I don't know that anybody's even gonna honestly care about Amberlynn's side of the story. I think a lot of people will watch, and I think at this point, a lot of people will not give a shit about what she says happened, regardless of any level of validity from Amberlynn's side. And she's really demonstrated a lot lately that her like, knowledge of how YouTube works and how social media works is just awful. And she's fumbling the bag. She's dropping the ball. She's not doing a great job at, like, controlling the story. And that's what happens when she just, like, vaguely teases out all of these things over time. It is worth noting, like I said earlier in the stream, that Brittany and Erica have a YouTube channel called Clever Teacup and that they're gonna go live today, August 1st. So certainly go check them out, I guess, if you want to get tea directly from them. I'm kind of like, I don't understand why y'all didn't just do this to begin with. But yeah. I think that's mostly it. I mean, obviously this is a developing story. There's certainly probably still way more to come. I imagine Amberlynn will put her story out there somewhere. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, she's actually live right now while I'm editing this video. So yeah, it definitely is developing as we go, and I will cover her live stream in my next video. So just be on the lookout. There's lots to cover, lots to talk about, and I'll be here to do it. But anyways, if she does post, be on the lookout. I'll try to react to it, respond to it as quick as I can, and or any other updates that come from this situation. I'll try my best to get them as quickly as I can to you. But that's all I have for today. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. Make sure to leave me a comment, hit like, click share, and follow me on all my social media. I had so much fun today. I hope you did too, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!